But anyway, after our tangent here, TJ, what are we going to talk about first?
Well, I figure we should start with this economic stuff going down here. This is you mentioned it before that the Tesla stuff and the economy stuff kind of runs together, so it's kind of hard to point out. But I'm gonna go straight to the stock market thing. Now, bear with me, you guys. If you guys please let me know. Of course, no one comments when I ask them to, but I'm gonna try to. I know it's wild. I'm going to try to share the screen here. We've been having trouble with this lately, but let me know if you cannot see this. And that way we can, now you shouldn't be able to see anything, but I'll tell you when we should. All right, let's go. The economy ain't doing well. So you should be seeing something right now. If you can't, please comment. All right, Dow slides and S&P 500. I don't know what S&P stands for. I want to point that out too. I see it all the time. I don't know what it stands for. I should probably know this as someone who talks about politics and the economy. Closes in on correction as Trump's trade war escalates. U.S. stocks slid Thursday, and the S&P 500 closed in correction, down more than 10% from its record high in February as President Trump threatened new tariffs on the European Union. The Dow ended the day down by 537 points, or 1.3%. S&P fell 1.39, and the Nasdaq Composite was 1.9% lower. For those of you wondering what a correction is, that's when the stock market drops 10% from its previous high. So yeah, it's heading toward recession. We've had corrections before. It happens, but this just it's not looking good. What do you think, John?
I think a couple things. One, I think you're getting flamed for not knowing what Standards and Poor's is. What the
didn't know.
Now, do I know why it's called that? I really don't know.
No, didn't know.
Mark and Hugh want to point that out. We also got confirmation they could see the screen. So those are the two most important things.
Yeah, thank you.
Now to go to our cratering economy. Yeah, it's bad, guys. Like I don't know how the plausible deniability is going to erode completely at some point because we are barreling towards a recession. Like that's what is happening. When you see the stock market crash this significantly. Now, we've said this on the shows before. The stock market is not a measure of economic health.
Yes.
However, it is a very good measure of what the people with wealth think the economy is going to do in the near future. And if you are the type of person who thinks that the people with wealth got their wealth because they have a better understanding of things like markets, they're screaming at you that the economy is going to a very bad place. It was at an all-time high. I believe it was like February 18th. It was around there. It was somewhere in the late time in the month of February. It was at an all-time high. Boom, crashed. And it's going to keep going like this because there aren't any indicators that it won't. President Trump himself is saying is not ruling out a recession. And when a politician refuses to rule out a recession, that's like about as damning of an indictment of an economy as you can get. And it's happening because, shocker, tariffs are very bad for trade. Every economist said it going into the election. No one fucking listened. And in fact, I had a lot of Republicans telling me, oh, he's not actually going to do these crazy tariff things. No, he is. He did. He's doing them. And now the Republicans are trying to pretend, oh, this is actually an aftershock from Biden's economy. Like, guys, eventually the buck has to stop being passed. You can't kick this can down the road forever. You're going to have to start admitting that, like, maybe every economist in the world is right about this. I don't know. Sounds crazy, right, TJ?
Yeah, it is funny watching that. Like, oh, this is just the aftershocks from Biden. And it's also funny thinking back that Trump said, well, the economy is only high under Biden because they're ready for me to come in. And, that's going to make it even higher. And the exact opposite has happened. I think I think I more or less know. It's not just that the tariffs are bad, which obviously they are. It's a lot worse because it's the bouncing back and forth that Trump keeps doing. That if there's one thing economies like, it's stability, right? Like that's something that business owners, workers, producers, consumers, you don't instability is not something that you want anywhere near your economic decisions. And Trump is just feeding this all the time by saying, tomorrow morning, I'm putting in these tariffs. Next day comes, actually, I'm backing off the tariffs. Not going to happen. And then doing this over and over again. And then when the other countries retaliate, say, oh, you like that tariff? I'm increasing it by 4. And by 4 times. And it's like, no, this isn't something that any economist wants, right?
Yeah, no. So to put it this way, I won't say who, because I don't want this getting back to anyone. But I have a person who's very close to me, who works for a investment firm, and that firm is tightening all of their belts. They're getting rid of a lot of perks for their employees, and they're like, we need to start saving money. And this is a firm that manages billions and billions of dollars of financial investments. They're not wrong about this. I can't stress to everyone enough that it's going to start getting even worse. Like, you haven't felt this yet unless you are invested in the stock market, but you're gonna feel it once people realize, oh, the stock market ain't going back up, because there's no reason for it to. Because like TJ said, the problem, besides the tariffs, the other huge problem is the stability. Like, if you have constantly changing sources of income, right, that you have no idea what's going to get taxed when. Today you go to the gas station, it's $1. Tomorrow you go to the gas station, it's $5. The next day you have no idea. You can't plan for gas prices. You can't plan for prices of anything moving forward. That's going to significantly inhibit your ability to plan for your family's financial success. You are going to then spend less. You're going to just tighten the straps. And when that happens, that's when recessions happen, when people stop spending, when demand in the economy decreases, because people cannot properly predict the future of their financial situation, so they get more conservative with their spending. This isn't even Econ 101 or Finance 101. This is like basic financial literacy shit. And if you can understand that, which I hope you do, I feel like you should be able to understand why, at the level of the U.S. government, having that kind of instability is really bad for business.
It's I don't know, like it's worse than you could even imagine, because what's getting me is that Donald Trump still seems to be confused about what a tariff is, like just like what it actually is. He's been saying this. I mentioned this on the show before, but last year around summer or so, I started noticing Donald Trump would do all these visits to black barbershops. He did 3 or 4 that I can remember. And during one of them, he said, we had a president in the late 1800s named William McKinley, and my jaw hit the floor because I couldn't believe Donald Trump actually knew who William McKinley was. It shocked me. And then I would have bet anything he had never heard of William McKinley. And then he started talking about how, you know, back when McKinley was president, we had tariffs and there was no income tax back in those days. And we had so much money, we needed a blue ribbon commission to decide what to do with all the money we had. And I want to go back to those days, which is a weird thing to say, because I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but the 1890s is the heart of the Gilded Age, not looked upon fondly, and, you know, led to the Great Depression. Really
terrible naming for an age, by the way, TJ. Like, that sounds good to me. Like, when you hear the Gilded Age, gilded sounds good. Am I incorrect about what gilded means?
Well, gilded means gold plated.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it looks good, it looks expensive, but it's not.
Yeah, I get that, but my dumb lizard brain is like, the Gilded Age must have been a good time.
You know what? Maybe it's because I learned the Gilded Age probably when I learned the word gilded, so I probably have a negative association that way. But if I knew it was the other way around, maybe it's like, yeah, what's wrong? It's gold plated. Sounds
Depression,
good.
Spot on. No one's confusing the Great Depression.
Yeah, true.
The Roaring 20s. People are like, the Roaring 20s, cool, you know, like it makes sense. The Gilded Age is a very confusing title.
I get it. You know, the robber baron age doesn't really roll off the tongue or something like that. But Trump keeps saying that these tariffs are a tax on foreign nations, and it's been driving me insane. All right, so I got a clip here I want to show you guys. This is I love our new press secretary, by the way. What's her name? Caroline Levitt, Catherine Levitt, or something like
that. She's coming around on me, TJ.
Fantastic.
She's not as bad at her job as I thought she would be. Like, she hasn't crashed and burned out yet, which I thought she would. So kudos to her so far.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 stars. Listen, if you're the press secretary, you have two jobs. One is to make the administration look as good as possible. Two, lie to cover the administration whenever you can. And in those two, I got to say, I've seen worse. I've seen a hell of a lot worse.
She's, again, not good for the country.
Right.
As a press secretary, she's nailing her role.
Can't complain. All right, so this is something this is close to the question that I wish people would ask about this whole tariff thing. Oh, God. Can you guys see this? Let me see. Nope.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
Again, TJ, we are still trying to figure this out, guys. There was an update on StreamYard.
If anybody out there knows, if anyone out there knows how to do this update with StreamYard, please let me know on how to share. But
TJ, I really hope I am a television major. I really hope that my old professors don't watch the show and go, John, I taught you how to do all of this on much more complicated equipment.
There was an update and they didn't explain it. It's just like, oh, here it is now. But okay. I'm hoping this is sharing now. Okay, let's try this here. This is some reporter asking about the tariffs.
Have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have.
They
don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you are trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press.
Okay, so execution. 5 out of 5, no complaints. She waves away the question, insults the guy asking. Great job, But substance, what the hell is going on here? If we can't agree on what a tariff actually is, what is the point of the conversation? What's the point? What I want to hear them ask, either Trump or his secretary or the Commerce secretary, just ask them, okay, Donald Trump is saying that a tariff is not what we were taught tariffs were in 7th grade. A tax on imported goods paid by the importer. Apparently, that's not what it is. It is a tax on foreign nations. What is the mechanism for collecting that tax from foreign nations? To explain it to me. Tell me who is the person they pay and how do they transport that money to the United States? Please, because no one's asking them. They just keep allowing Trump to say, nope, this is a tax on foreign nations. We're going to collect. He keeps saying we're going to raise money, bringing it into the United States through tariffs. Ask him how this happens because it's driving me insane.
It really is. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, we can disagree on a lot of things politically. We can disagree on a lot of policies, but I don't understand how you can support a man for the president of the United States. And again, there's a lot of reasons to not support Donald Trump. A lot of them are opinions. This ain't one. He's just straight up lying to the American people about what his policy is and what it does. And again, I'm not saying this in the way that politicians always obfuscate the truth or make themselves sound better or highlight certain things more than others in order to make a bill or policy more desirable. That shit happens 100%. Both parties do it. This is not that. This is Donald Trump saying, I'm going to tax the this is Donald Trump taxing the American people, turning around and saying, I'm not actually doing that. I'm actually taxing someone else. And that, even if you think it's good for the economy, how can you possibly sit there? And first of all, you shouldn't think that. But even if you did, how can you possibly sit there and be like, it's cool that he's just lying about what this thing is? If you think it's good, say it with your whole damn chest. Why is he lying about it if we're supposed to think it's a good thing? Why lie if it's good?
Yeah, I agree. Let's say you think, because look, the argument. All right, I don't know. I forgot sometimes Republicans listen to this. You got to really baby things for them. So, whenever you bring this up, say, oh well, Biden had tariffs or Obama had tariffs. All right, look, I can envision scenarios in which, taking a scalpel and saying a tariff in this area is good. And here's the purpose of a tariff. Okay, the purpose of a tariff is to disincentivize purchasing foreign commodities and encourage people to buy American-made products. And if you're thinking, okay, so a foreign company, a foreign nation has an advantage in this area, and it's putting American businesses, out of business. And so I'm going to put that tariff. Okay, fine. I get that. If you want to put that, I can see like the logic on that. It's been done before. It may or may not work, but I can at least understand that. But if you think it's a good idea, why is Trump lying about? That's a good question. Why is he lying about what a tariff is? Why? There's no need to anymore. He's the president, right? Like he doesn't have to ask anyone's permission to put these tariffs on, but he still puts this. He keeps floating this idea of an external revenue service where France is going to pay us to import their products. It's insane.
And it's just like you can only extend this. This works for him when he's not the president. Like when he wasn't the president, he could lie in perpetuity for years and years and years, and it doesn't matter because there's no like physical proof of what is happening. This is actually happening. Like people are paying these taxes. People are going to start getting laid off because the companies that they work for are being forced to pay 25%, 30% more taxes on the goods that they are buying to produce the products that they are making. And when that happens, people are going to start asking questions, and the answer cannot just be in perpetuity. No, you're not paying the tax. It just can't continue for so long. And he keeps saying, "Oh, all this money's coming in." Eventually, it's going to be time to fucking pay the piper, and money ain't going to be there because again, it's not like he's just not doing the thing he's claiming he's doing.
Yeah, that's the question I have for conservatives out there is that these tariffs have been put in place. We check back with the importers 6 months from now and ask them, did you pay that tariff? Did you pay it or did someone else pay it? The answer is going to be they paid it, which means you're going to pay it because they're not going to eat that cost. They're going to pass it along to the consumer. And okay, also, this is actually why John probably has mentioned this before. I saw you did a video on tariffs. I don't know if you went down this road, so sorry if I stepped on it because I didn't get a chance. Oh, it did very well on the Left Wing YouTube channel. Check that out, folks. A very good video John did there.
Check to see how it did. I'm so
glad. I did really well. And so I saw it. I was like, oh, damn, look at John. And so, but here's the one of the big problems with tariffs is that let's say John and I are competing and selling widgets, okay? I make widgets in, godless, barbarian, horde, foreign country is where my widgets come from, and I import them to the United States, and John makes widgets here in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And Trump puts a tariff on my widgets. So now instead of selling my widgets for $5, I have to sell them for $10. Previously, John had also sold his widgets for $5. Why would John not sell his widgets for $9 at that point? Why not? Like, if he knows that the foreign companies have to raise their prices by X amount of dollars, he's going to raise his by X minus one. That, once again, basic fucking economics. Like, there's no incentive for them to do otherwise. And even better, all right, I got one here, John. I want to show you this. What? Jesus Christ. Oh, God. All right, I'm trying this again, folks, but this is going to be a long show if I had to keep doing this.
Okay.
But go ahead, John.
While TJ brings that up, I just wanted to address Mark says, hot take, I don't think Trump is lying. I think Trump doesn't understand it. And you know what? I don't often say this on this show, but I do agree with Mark. I think there's a very solid chance that Trump, in his heart of hearts, thinks that tariffs are levied on foreign nations. And whenever someone tells him that, he fires them, so he never hears otherwise. So he might believe that. And I guess then my question to Republicans is, if that's what you think is going on, how the fuck are you okay with someone who doesn't understand what tariffs are imposing tariffs? That doesn't matter. Like, again, if I swear to God, TJ, if I had the choice between Mitt Romney for president and a Democrat that was telling me that tariffs are taxed on foreign nations, I would vote for Mitt Romney. I would, if I genuinely thought that's what they believed, I'd be like, you know what? I disagree with a lot of what Mitt Romney stands for, but at least he understands the things that he is saying he wants to do. And that's stable, and we can live through 4 years of that. Like, I wouldn't trust a guy who didn't know what tariffs was to run the economy. I just wouldn't.
Imagine if when Donald Trump was promoting Obamacare, when Barack Obama was promoting Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act and stuff, where he says, well, insurance is actually when the doctors pay you. That's actually what happens with insurance. And he just wouldn't say anything else. Every time he was asked, no, the doctors pay you with insurance. That's how insurance works. It's that insane. Like, it literally is that insane. Okay, I think I got it here now. All right, so we were talking about Trump not understanding things. It was just funny. It may have been an honest to God mistake on Trump's part, but it did make me laugh. So Trump says the European Union, one of the most hostile and abusive taxing and tariffing authorities in the world, which was formed for the sole purpose of taking advantage of the United States, has just put a nasty 50% tariff on whiskey. If this tariff is not removed immediately, the United States will shortly place a 200% tariff on all wines, champagnes, alcoholic products coming out of France and other EU represented countries. This will be great for the wine and champagne businesses in the United States. I just laughed at this because you literally cannot make champagne in the United States. There's like champagne can only come from France. That's part of that's part of the whole thing about it being champagne. This also applies to I saw that Trump put a tariff on aluminum and steel from Canada. And there's the reason that we get a lot of aluminum from Canada. It's actually a pretty long story. We have very, very small amounts of bauxite, which is the ore that aluminum comes from. Canada doesn't have any either, but they have like a much more efficient hydroelectric system. So it's cheaper for them to do it. It would cost us more money to make our own aluminum. That's why we don't fucking do it. But Trump's an idiot, but I don't know. It's obnoxious.
And the last thing I wanted to say on the economy thing, and I do want to get to Tesla next.
Tesla.
But the last thing I want to say on the economy thing is, even if I'm going to steel man the argument, right? Even if I'm going to say, okay, the argument is we need these for protectionism in order to regrow American industrial capabilities. And it's like, okay, that's a fine argument. You want to make that we should be making our aluminum here. It might be more expensive in the short term, but we'll learn to do it better. Okay, cool. But still, who the fuck is doing this? Where is this labor time coming from? We have a 4% unemployment rate. We're all doing jobs. We are all working. So if we are going to respec our skill set to start making aluminum, what's going to happen to the jobs I currently do, TJ? Who is doing this work? And it might make you wonder, it's always made no sense why fascists always turn to forced labor camps. But that's the end of the fucking...
Yeah, all right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We had a fun show. Too bad Ate couldn't join us. Next week, we'll be on Tuesday and Wednesday. Feel free to join us. Then we'll have Tennessee Brando joining us next Wednesday. Always a pleasure to have him. And unlike the Founding Fathers, you can take our word as gospel. Do what we say. We demand it. Catch you guys later. All right.